हेलो लिसनर्स। तो आज से हम लोग स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं कंप्लीट फिजिक्स। वो भी गवर्नमेंट एग्जाम्स के लिए, सभी एग्जाम्स के लिए ये रिलेवेंट होगी। तो स्टार्ट करते हैं अपना चैप्टर फर्स्ट है हमारा फिजिकल क्वांटिटीज़। फिजिकल क्वांटिटीज़, दो क्वांटिटीज़ विच कैन डिस्क्राइब द लॉ ऑफ फिजिक्स एंड पॉसिबल टू मेजर आर कॉल्ड फिजिकल क्वांटिटीज़। द फिजिकल क्वांटिटी विच डू नॉट डिपेंड अपॉन अदर फिजिकल क्वांटिटीज़ आर कॉल्ड फंडामेंटल क्वांटिटीज़। The physical quantities which depend on fundamental quantities are derived quantities. Example: speed, acceleration, force, etc. Unit. The unit of the physical quantity is referred to standard used to it measure it. Types of unit: fundamental unit. The unit defined to for the fundamental quantities are called the fundamental or base unit. फंडामेंटल फिजिकल क्वांटिटीज़ एंड फंडामेंटल यूनिट, मतलब कि जो भी उनकी फंडामेंटल क्वांटिटीज़ हैं और उनके यूनिट्स क्या क्या हैं। मास किलोग्राम, लेंथ मीटर, टाइम सेकंड, टेम्परेचर केल्विन, इलेक्ट्रिक करंट एम्पियर, ल्यूमिनस इंटेंसिटी कैंडेला, अमाउंट ऑफ सब्सटेंस मोल। Second, derived unit. The unit defined for the derived quantities are called derived unit. Example: unit of speed or velocity, meter per second; acceleration, meter per second square, etc. Second chapter, rest and motion. Rest and motion. An object is said to be rest if it does not change position which respect to the to its surrounding with time, and said to be in motion if it change its position with respect to it surrounding with time. uh, Types of motion: rectilinear motion, moving car on a horizontal road, motion under gravity, etc. Angular motion, such as a particle going on a circle. Projection motion, rotatory motion of a machine shaft, etc. Rotatory motion, such a motion of a fan. It is an object to travel equal distance in equal interval of time, then it is said to be an uniform motion. It an object to travel an equal distance in equal interval of time, then it is to be in non-uniform motion. Speed: the distance covered by moving body in a unit time interval is called a speed. Um, Speed is equal to distance travel upon time taken. When a body travel equal distance with speed v1 and v2, then average speed is called the harmonic mean of the two speed. 2 upon v is equal to 1 upon v plus 1 upon b2 is equal gives b is equal to 2v1 into v2 upon b1 plus b2. When a body travel for a equal time with speed v1 and v2, then average speed is the arithmetic mean of the two speed. V is equal to b1 plus b2 upon 2. Velocity: the time related to the change of displacement of body is called its velocity. Velocity is equal to displacement upon time. An object is just said to be moving with uniform velocity if undergoes equal displacement in equal interval of time. An object is said to be moving with a non-uniform or variable velocity if it undergoes unequal displacement in equal interval of time. Average velocity is equal to time displacement sorry average speed is equal to time displacement upon total time taken. Acceleration: the time rate of the change of velocity of a body is called its acceleration. Acceleration: the change in velocity upon time taken. It is a vector quantity and SI unit is a meter second minus square. Acceleration is an instant of time is known as instantaneous acceleration. When velocity of a body increase with time, then its acceleration is positive, and if velocity decrease with time, then its acceleration is negative with the declaration of retardation. If acceleration does not change with time, it is said to be constant acceleration. Equation of uniformly accelerated motion along a straight line. If a body started its motion with initial velocity u and the attain a final velocity v in the interval t, the acceleration assumed to be uniform in motion is and the distance travel is s, then equation of motion v is equal to u plus at, s is equal to ut plus 1 upon 2 at square, v square is equal to u square plus 2as. If any body is falling freely under gravity, then it is replaced by G is above equation. If an object is thrown vertically upward, then it is above equation of motion. A is replaced by the minus G. Velocity minus time graph for the acceleration or deceleration body. The graph will be a straight line inclined to time axis and velocity axis. Graph between position distance minus time and acceleration or deceleration body is always a parabola. Acceleration time graph for uniformly acceleration body is a line parallel to time axis. In case of uniform acceleration, the graph between position and velocity is always parabola. In case of uniformity acceleration motion, the graph between velocity and time is always a straight line. Slope of the displacement time graph gives velocity, and slope of the velocity time graph gives acceleration. Projectile motion: when a body is thrown from the horizontal, make an angle theta except 90 degree. When its motion under gravity is curved parabola path called the trajectory, and its motion is called the projectile motion. Example: the motion of the bullet shot from the gun, the motion of the rocket after the burst out, the motion of a bomb dropped from the aeroplane, etc. Property of projectile motion: if we drop a ball from a height and at the same time throw another ball in a horizontal direction, then both the balls would strike the earth simultaneously at different places. Circular motion: the motion of an object along a circular path is called circular motion. Circular motion with a constant speed is called the uniform circular motion. The direction of motion at any point is in circular motion is given out by the tangent of the circle at that point. In uniform circular motion, the velocity and acceleration both change. In case of non-uniform circular motion, the speed changes from point to point on the circular tract. Centripetal acceleration: during the circular motion and acceleration act on the body toward the center, called the centripetal acceleration. The direction of the centripetal acceleration is always toward the center of the circular path. Force: it is an external push or pull with the change of the tries to change the state of the rest or uniform motion. The SI unit is the Newton, and the CGS unit is dyne. One n equal to 10 to the power 5 dyne. If a sum of all forces acting on a body is zero, then the body is said to be an equilibrium. Centripetal force: during circular motion, a force always act on a body toward the center at of a circular path is called centripetal force. Centrifugal force: in circular motion, we experience that the force is acting on us in opposite to the direction of the centripetal force. It called centripetal force. This is an apparent force or imaginary force, and also called a pseudo force. Application of centripetal force and centrifugal force: cyclist inclined itself from the vertical to obtain required centripetal force. To take a safe turn, cyclist slower down his speed and moves on a path or of large radius. Road can be bent at turn to provide required centripetal force of taking a turn. For a taking turn on a curved road, the friction force is acting between the tires of the vehicle and the road act as a centripetal force. If a bucket containing water is revolved fast in a vertical plane, the water may not fall. Even when the bucket is completely inversed, because the centripetal force equal or the greater than the weight of the water pushes the water to the bottom of the bucket. For orbital motion of electron around the nuclear, electrostatic force of attraction is acting between the electron and the nucleus as centripetal force. The cream is separated from the milk when it is rotated in vessel about the same axis. During rotation, the lighter particles of cream experience is less force than the heavier particle of milk. For the revolution of the Earth around the sun, gravitation force of the attraction between the Earth and the sun act as the centripetal force. Chapter third: Force and Newton's law of motion. Newton's first law of motion: a body continue in the in it state of rest of uniform motion in a straight line, unless an external force act as on it. It is based on the law of inertia. Inertia is the property of the body by virtue of which is opposes any changes in its state of rest of or of uniform motion in a straight line. Inertia of rest: when a bus or a train at rest start to move suddenly, the passage sitting in it jerk in backward direction due to their inertia of rest. This the dust particle comes out from the carpet when it beaten with a stick due to the inertia of rest. The passage jumping from a rapid moving bus or the train is advised to jump in forward direction and run forward for a short meal due to the inertia of rest. Inertia of motion: when a running bus or train stops suddenly, the passenger sit it in a jerk in forward direction due to the inertia of motion. Momentum: the momentum of a moving body is equal to the product of its mass and its velocity. Conservation of linear momentum: the linear momentum of a system of particles remain conserved. If the external force is acting on the system is zero. Rocket propulsion and engine of jet aeroplane work on principle of conservation of linear movement. In rocket, ejection gas exert a forward force which help in acceleration the rocket upward. Newton's second law: the rate of the change of momentum of a body is directly proportional to the force applied on it, and its change in the momentum different uh, uh, take place in a different of applied force. Newton's third law: for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction, and both act on two interaction object. The rocket is proportional by the principle of Newton's third law of motion. Impulse: a large force which act on the body for a very short interval of time produce a large changes in the momentum is called an impulsive force. Its unit is Newton's second. Field lower its hand when catches a cricket ball. Because of lowering his hand, it increase the time of contact for stopping the ball, and therefore fielder and to has to apply lesser force to stop the ball. The ball will also exert lesser force on the hand or of the fielders in, and the fielder will get not get hurt. Wagons of the train are provided with the buffers to increase the time of the impact during jog, and therefore decrease the damage. The vehicle like scooter, car, bus, truck, etc. are provided with shockers. Friction is a force which opposes the relative motion of the two bodies when the one a body is actually moving to tries to move over the surface of another body. This cause the friction is the strongest atomic or the molecular force of attraction acting on the two surface at a point of actual contact. Uses of friction: a ball bearing is a type of the rolling element that uses the ball of the maintain the separation between the bearing race. The purpose of the of a ball bearing is to reduce rotational friction and to support load weight. Friction is necessary walking for walking to apply brakes in a brake, for holding nuts and the bolts in a machine, etc. Friction can be decreased by polishing the surface by the using lubricant or by the using ball bearing. Types of tires are made of synthetic rubber because its coefficient or friction with road is larger, and therefore large force of friction act on it which stops sliding in at turn. The tires are threading which also increase the friction between the tires and the road. When a pedal is applied onto the bicycle, the force of friction on near wheel in is in forward direction on and on the front wheel is in the backward direction. Lose due to frictions, too much loss of energy in machines, and then ultimately the machine and are damaged. Law of limiting friction, it depends on the nature of the surface in contact and their state of polish, which act tangential to the two surface in contact and in the direction opposite to the direction of motion of the body. The value of limiting fraction is independent of the area of the surface is in contact so long as the normal reaction remain the same. Fourth, the limiting fraction is directly proportional to the normal reaction r between the two surfaces. Chapter 4. Chapter 4, Oscillation and Waves. Periodic motion, a motion which repeats itself identically after a fixed interval of time, is called the periodic motion. For example, motion of arm of a clock, or orbital motion of the earth around the sun, motion of a simple pendulum, etc. Oscillatory motion, a paired motion take place and place to and fro or back and forth about a fixed point is called the oscillatory motion. For example, a motion is of a simple pendulum, motion of a loaded spring, etc. If a particle oscillates with its own natural frequency without help of any external periodic force, the oscillation is then called the damped oscillation. When a body oscillates with the help of the external periodic force with the frequency different from the natural frequency of the body, then oscillation is called the forced oscillation. Simple harmonic motion, SHM, the oscillation motion of constant amplitude and of single frequency under the restoring force whose magnitude is proportional to the displacement and always act toward means position. It is called the simple harmonic motion. Characteristic of SHM, when particle execute, SHM passes through the mean position. No force act on the particle. Second, acceleration of the particle is zero. Third, velocity is maximum. Fourth, kinetic energy is maximum. Fifth, potential energy is zero. When a particle executing, SHM is at the center. Is at the extreme, and then first acceleration of the particle is maximum. Second, restoring force acting on a particle is minimum. Third, velocity of particle of is zero. Fourth, kinetic energy of particle is zero. Fifth, potential energy is maximum. Single pendulum, a heavy point of mass suspended with a rigid support by mean and of an electric inextensible string is called the simple pendulum. Time period of simple pendulum is given by the t is equal to 2 pi under root L upon G. The time period of a simple pendulum of infinite length is 84.6 minutes. The time period of a second pendulum is 2 seconds if the length of the earth is nearby 100 centimeter. Acceleration due to the gravity decrease with altitude, height, and therefore time period of pendulum clock will increase and the clock becomes slow. If the bob of a simple pendulum is suspended from a metallic wire, then the light of the pendulum increase with the increase in temperature, and therefore its time period also increase. A girl is swinging over a swing. If she stand up over the swing, then the effect length of the swing decrease, and therefore the time period of oscillation decrease. A pendulum clock cannot be used in a spaceship damped harmonic motion. When there is a friction or any other force acting within an oscillation system, the amplitude of the oscillation decreases over time to this damping force. This is called the damped harmonic motion. Reason or resonant oscillation, when a body oscillates with an own natural frequency with the help of an external periodic force, also called the force harmonic motion. And if the frequency provided by the external agents is equal to the natural frequency of the body, the oscillation of a body is called the resonant oscillation wave. The wave is the distribution proportion energy from one place to other without the transport of matter. Waves are the broadly are of two types: mechanical wave and non-mechanical wave. Mechanical wave, the wave which required material, medium, solid, liquid, or gas for their propagation. For their propagation, are called mechanical or wave or electric wave. Mechanical wave are of two types. First, longitudinal wave. If the particle of the medium vibrate in the direction of propagation of wave, the wave is called the longitudinal wave. Second, transverse wave. Transverse wave. If the particle of the medium of vibrate perpendicular to the direction of propagate of the wave on a string under tension. Wave on the surface of water are example of transverse wave, non-mechanical wave or electromagnetic wave. The wave which do not require medium for their propagation, which can propagate even through the vacuum, are called non-mechanical wave. All the electromagnetic wave consist of photons. The wavelength of the electromagnetic wave is 10 to the minus 14 meter to 10 to the 4 meter. Properties of electromagnetic waves: they are neutral, uncharged. They propagate as a transverse wave. Third, they propagate with the velocity of light. Fourth, they contain energy and momentum. Fifth, their concept was introduced by Maxwell. Following waves are not electromagnetic waves. First, cathode ray. Second, canal waves. Third, alpha rays. Fourth, gamma alpha give rays, and fourth, beta rays. Fifth, sound waves. Sixth, ultrasonic waves. Some important electronic waves and their discoveries: X-ray, Henry Becquerel, X-ray, W. Röntgen, ultraviolet ray, Joran Ritter, visual radiation, Newton, infrared rays, Herschel, short radio wave, Hertzian wave, और अर्जन वेव किसने सर्च की थी? हेंचरिच वो हेंचरिच हर्च ने. लॉन्ग रेडियो वेव, मार्कोनी. नोट इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मैग्नेटिक वेव्स ऑफ द वेवलेंथ रेंज 10 to the minus 3 to 10 to the minus 2 meter are called microwave. Amplitude, it is defined the maximum displacement of vibration particles on either side from the equilibrium position. Wavelength is a distance between any two nearest particle of the medium vibrate in the same phase. It denoted by the Greek letter lambda. In transverse wave, distance between two consecutive rest or throws, and its longitudinal wave distance between two consecutive comparison or refractions is equal to the wavelength. Velocity of wave is equal to frequency into wavelength. Sound waves are the mechanical longitudinal wave and require medium for their propagation. It cannot propagate through vacuum. When propagate, speed and wavelength changes but frequency remain constant. It is of three types. First, infrasonic wave, 0 to 20,000 hertz. Audible wave, 20 to 20,000 hertz. Ultrasonic waves is equal to lesser than 2,000 hertz. Chapter number 5, sound. Chapter 5, sound reflection. The bouncing back of sound when it strikes a hard surface is called reflection of sound. The second law of reflection of light are also obeyed. The reflection of sound. The working of a megaphone, soundboard, and ear trumpet is based on the reflection of sound. The repetition of sound due to reflection of sound waves is called echo. The persistence of hearing of human ear is 1/10 of the second. The minimum distance from a sound reflecting surface to hear an echo is nearby 17 meter. The soundproof room are made of two layers of wall having vacuum between. The reverberation arise due to multiple reflection of sound. While the designing an auditorium for a speech or musical concert, one has taken proper care of the absorption and reflection of sound. Time taken by the reverberant sound decreasing in its intensity by the factor of 10 to the 6 is called reverberation time fraction. refraction, when a sound wave move from the mechanical medium to the another mechanical medium, it so divergent from the original path of the incident. This phenomena is known as refractions. It is due to the difference of speed of sound media diffraction. When the sound wave originated from by the vibrating source, they spread in a medium, and it differ medium is homogeneous, and this lead to blending of sound waves around the edges, which is known as diffraction. The sound wave are diffracted broadly, and one can easily hear the voice of the another person. Musical scale, in theory of the music, a musical scale is a set of musical notes by the frequencies of which are the simple in ratio to another. Sa, re, gamma, pa, dha, ni is one scale called the diatonic scale. The interval sa is called a octave. 8. Noise reduction in recording media. Five types of noise reduction system exist in a recording media is discussed below. Dolby, a noise reduction system intended for use in professional recording studios. It provides about the 10 dB of broadband noise reduction. dB Dolby B was developed to achieve about 9 dB noise reduction primarily for the cassettes. It was much simpler than the Dolby A, and therefore less expensive to implement in the consumer's product. By Dolly C provide about 15 dB noise reduction. Dolly SR is spectacle recording system in much more aggressive noise reduction approval than Dolly A. Dolly SR is much more expensive to implement than Dolly B and C, but it's capable for providing up to 25 dB noise reduction in the high frequency range. Dolly S is a found of some hi-fi and some professional recording equipment. It is capable of 10 dB of the noise reduction at low frequency and up to 12 dB of noise reduction at high frequency. Uh, Droplets effect, apparent change in the frequency of the sound or due to motion between the sources and observer is called a Doppler effect. Application of Doppler effect, the measurement of the Doppler shift based on the Doppler effect has been used by police to check over speeding of vehicles at airport, to guide aircraft, to study heart and blood flow in a different part of the body, by astrophysicists to measure the velocity of the planet and stars. Sonar stands for sound navigation and tracking. It is used to measure depth of the sea, to locate the enemy submarines and ship work. The transmitter of a sonar produces pulses of ultraviolet sound waves of frequency of about 5,000 50,000 hertz. The reflected sound wave are received by the receiver human ear. We are able to hear with the help of external sensitive organs of our body called the ear. There are three parts of the human ear. The outer ear called pilna, they collect the sound from the surrounding. The middle term is transmit, and the amplifier pressure vibrate received from the sound wave to the inner ear. The inner ear pressure vibrate and turn into the electrical signal by the cochlea, and the electrical signal are sent to the brain via auditory nerve, and the brain interpret them as sound. Chapter 6. Heat is a form of energy which produces the sensation of warmth. Its SI unit is joule, and the other unit is calorie. One calorie is equal to 1.4 is equal to 4.2 joule. The transfer of heat is always from the hotter to the colder body. Temperature is a measure of hotness or coldness of a body. The heat flow from one body to another due to the difference in their temperature. The scale of temperature, to measure the temperature of a body is scale for the following temperature scale are used. Celsius scale of temperature, freezing point is at 0 degree, boiling point of water is 100 degree centigrade. From Fahrenheit scale of temperature, ice point of freezing of water is 32 Fahrenheit. Boiling point of water is 212 Fahrenheit. Kelvin of the absolute scale of temperature is point of the water is 273 degree Kelvin. Boiling point of water is equal to 373 Kelvin. Reaumur scale of temperature, ice point of water is 0 degree centigrade. 0 degree R. boiling point of water is 0 degree 80 degree r. Relation between scales of temperature. Different scale of temperature are related to r as follow. C upon 100 is equal to f minus 32 upon 1 upon 80 is equal to r upon 80 is equal to k minus 273 upon 100 is equal to k is equal to 273 plus 3 centigrade, sorry. At temperature minus 40 degrees centigrade is equal to minus 40 Fahrenheit. Celsius scale is equal to Fahrenheit. The temperature at which the three phases of water remain at the equilibrium is called the triple point of water. 273.16 Kelvin. Thermometer. The instrument used to measure temperature of a body is called thermometer. Thermometer are of follow these types. First, clinical thermometer. It is used to measure human body and temperature and ranges from 90 degree Fahrenheit to 100 degree Fahrenheit or 35 degree centigrade to 43 degree centigrade. Electronic thermometer. The basic concept of the electronic thermometer are the thermometer. Thermistor or the thermomistors. Ranges of the electrothermometer is minus 40 degree centigrade to 450 Fahrenheit. Other thermometer. These include constant volume gas thermometer, platinum resistance thermometer, etc. Clinical thermometer measure the temperature in degree Fahrenheit. F in thermometer mercury is commonly used through a wide range from minus 30 degree centigrade to 300 degree centigrade. Thermometer was developed by the Galileo, who found the gases expand on heating. Thermal expansion. The expansion of a body caused by heat is known as thermal expansion. Thermal expansion of solid is of three types. First, expansion in length on heating. It is called the linear expansion. The increase in length of a rod of unit of the substance due to increase in its temperature by 1 degree centigrade. It is called the coefficient of the linear expansion of the substance of that rod. It is represented by the is equal to increase in the length upon initial length into rise in temperature. Its unit is degree minus centigrade minus 1. A second expansion in area on heating is called the superficial expansion. Coefficient of superficial expansion is given as um, beta is equal to increase in area upon initial area into rise in temperature. Third, expansion in volume on heating called volume expansion or cubical expansion. Coefficient of the volume or the cubical expansion is given as gamma is equal to increase in volume upon original volume into rise in temperature. Relation between coefficient of expansion, coefficient of the thermal expansion are related as beta is equal to 2 alpha and uh, gamma is equal to 3 alpha, and alpha beta gamma is equal to 1 ratio 3, sorry, alpha and alpha ratio beta ratio gamma is equal to 1 up ratio 2 ratio 3. In layering a railway line, a small gap is left between two iron rail, otherwise rail line will become curved on heating in summer. Telephone wire are not tightened on the poles because in winter wire get contrast and can break. Thermal expansion of liquid. In liquid, only expansion in the volume take place on heat. Expansion of liquid is of two types. When expansion of the container contain liquid on heating is not taken into account, then observed expansion is called the apparent expansion of liquid. When expansion of the container containing liquid on heating is also taken into account, their observation expansion is called real expansion of liquid. y r is equal to ya plus yg, where yr and ya are coefficient of real and apparent expansion of liquid. Yg is coefficient of cubical expansion of the container. Anomalous expansion of water: when temperature of water is increased from 0 degree centigrade, then its volume decrease up to 4 degrees centigrade, become minimum of 4 degrees centigrade, and then increase. This behavior of water expansion around 4 degrees centigrade is the anomalous expansion of water. Thermal expansion of gases: there are two types of coefficient of expansion in gases. At constant pressure, the change in volume per degree Celsius is called the volume coefficient. At a constant volume, the change in the pressure per degree Celsius is called the pressure coefficient. Calorimetry: amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 gram of the water by 1 degree centigrade is called the 1 calorie. Calorimetry is state that heat lost by the hotter body is called the heat gained by the colder body. Specific heat: the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of unit mass of a substance through 1 degree centigrade is called its specific heat. It depend on by S, and its unit is uh, kel upon g degree centigrade, or joule upon g upon c. The specific heat of water is 4200 joule upon kilometer, keep power 1 upon 100, centigrade, or which is highly compared with the most other substance. Therefore, water is used as a coolant in radiator in vehicle, and the hot water is used for the fermentation. Heat energy given or taken to change the temperature of a body is given by सॉरी ये वाली लाइन हटा दीजिए आप लोग. द अमाउंट ऑफ द हीट रिक्वायर्ड टू राइज द टेम्परेचर ऑफ 1 मोल ऑफ गैस बाई 1 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड इज कॉल्ड द मोलर स्पेसिफिक हीट. लेटेंट हीट: द हीट एनर्जी absorbed or released at a constant temperature per unit mass for change of state is called the latent heat. It is denoted by L, and its SI unit is cal upon G. Heat energy observed by releasing during the change of state is given out. Q is equal to M capital L, where M is the mass of the substance. Latent heat of the fusion of ice is 100 cal upon G. Latent heat of vaporization of the steam is 536 cal upon G. Thermodynamics: the branch of the physics which deals with the study of relation of heat energy with different types of energy is called thermodynamics. Zeroth law of the thermodynamics tells us about the thermal equilibrium. First law: as for the first law of about energy, heat given to the substance is equal to sum of the changes in interval energy and work done. Second law: in the second law, work can be converted into heat and vice versa, but conversion is not possible with 100% of efficiency. It is impossible for a machine operating in a cyclic process to convert heat completely into work. It is the Kelvin's statement. A heat by itself cannot transfer from a colder to heater. It is cautious statement. Refrigerator is based on the statement. Heat engine is a device which convert heat into mechanical work. Internal combustion and the external combustion heat energy. Heat engine are two types of heat engine. Car engine uses coolant added with water to reduce harmful effect like corrosion, rusting, etc. Such ethanol, glycol, potassium dichromate, etc. Carnot's theorem tell us about the maximum efficiency of heat engine. It refers to Carnot cycle. Entropy measure the molecular disorder of a system and its thermodynamical function depending only on the temperature of the system. Evaporation is a process in which the molecule escapes slowly from the surface of the liquid. For a given liquid, the rate of the evaporation demand on the temperature and area of the evaporation surface. um, Refrigerator is a device used for cooling things by the evaporation and the compression of volatile liquid inside a copper coil. Humidity. The presence of a moisture in an atmosphere is called the humidity. The amount of water vapor pressure in the unit volume of the atmosphere is called the absolute humidity. The relative humidity of a air at a given temperature is the ratio of the mass of water vapor present in a certain volume of air to the mass of the water vapor required to the saturate the same volume of air at the same temperature multiplied by 100. Relative humidity is measured by the hygrometer. Relativity humidity is of about 50% is considered comfortable at temperature 20 degrees centigrade to 50 degrees centigrade. If the relative humidity is very low in air, then lips become dry and crack appeared in them. If relative humidity is very high in air, then sweat from our body does not evaporate readily and therefore we feel uncomfortable. Air conditioning provide comfortable condition for regulating temperature and humidity. Transmission of heat. Heat can be transferred from one place to another by process of transmission. There are three methods of transmission of heat: conduction, the method of transmission of heat in solid from higher temperature part to the lower temperature part without actual movement of the particle is called the condensation. Transmission of heat in solid take place in mainly through the condensation. Metals are good conductor of heat. Wood metal are good conductor of heat. Wood, cotton, wool, glass are bad conductor of heat. Dry air is also a bad conductor of heat. Woolen cloth do not allow the heat of our body to escape and therefore we feel warm. On a cold night, we too thin blanket to give more warm than a single thick blanket because of the layer of the air between the two blanket work as a better insulator. Refrigerator and the ice box have double wall having thermocol between them which minimize heat gain by the convection. The mode of transmission of heat in fluid, liquid and gases due to the actual movement of the particle is called convection. In liquid and gases, heat is transferred by the convection. When a liquid in a vessel is heated at the bottom, the liquid at bottom get heated and due expand due to a lower density. Hot liquid rises and it places it taken by cold liquid from the above convection current are set up in the liquid until the temperature of the whole liquid becomes same. The cooling unit in a refrigerator is fitted near the top as cold air moves downward and keep cool the whole interior. Radiator is in a motor car works on the principle of convection. Newton's law of cooling. The rate of a loss of heat from the body is directly proportional to the difference in temperature of body and its surrounding. If we take hot water and fresh water and put in a refrigerator, then the rate of cooling of heat will be faster than the fresh water. Sea breeze. During daytime, the seashore warm up much faster than the sea water. Hot air over the sea shore rises. The cooler air from the seawater moves toward the seashore to the takes its place, resulting in the sea breeze. Land breeze. At night, the land cools faster than the seawater. Now, hot air over sea water rises and cooler from the land moves toward sea to take its place and resulting in the land breeze. Coldly night are the warmer and the clear night because the cold cloud reflect the radiation emitted by the earth at night and keep it warm. Radiation, the process of the heat transfer in the form of electromagnetic waves, is called the radiation. The radiation does not require any medium of propagation and propagate without the heating the intervention medium. Black body, a body that absorbs all the radiation on incident of on it is called the perfect black body. Radio of heat absorb radiation or to total incident radiation for a body is called absorptive power. Body body, it is no unit amount of heat radiation per unit area of the surface or at a given temperature is called the emissive power of the surface. Its unit is a joule upon meter square. Sorry, just forget unit. The ratio of the emissive power and the absorption power of a body is always the same. It is equal to emissive power of a body. This is known as Kirchhoff's laws. White color is a bad observer and good reflector of heat radiation. While black color is a good absorber and but a reflector of heat. Therefore, cloths of light color are better feeling in summer, and the cloth of the dark color give better feeling in winter. Chapter 7, Matter. Matter is considered in as anything which has weight and occupy space. It is exists in three states: solid, liquid, and gas. Solid. It is a state of matter which has definite shape and definite volume. In this state, molecules are very close packed. Properties of solid: elasticity, the property of a body by the virtue of which it regain its original configuration after the removal of the deformation force is called the elasticity. Quartz and the phosphorus or bronze are the almost perfectly elastic body. Plasticity, the property of a body by virtue of which it does not gain its original configuration after the uh, removal of deforming force is called plasticity. Strain, the fraction I change in the configuration and length of volume and the shape is called the strain. Strain has no unit on the basis of change in configuration. Strain is of three types: longitudinal strain, volume strain, shearing strain. Stress, internal restoration force acting per unit area of cross section of a deformed body is called stress. Stress is of two types: normal stress, tangential stress. The maximum deforming force upon the which a body retain its property of elasticity is called the limit of elasticity. Elasticity of the material body. The minimum stress required to break a wire is called the breaking stress. The torque required to produce a given twist in a hollow cylinder is greater than the required to produce the same twist in a solid cylindrical. Therefore, the hollow salt of A is stronger than a solid disruptor. Spring are made of steel, not of copper. As young modulus of elasticity of steel is more than that of a copper. Elastic limit. It is the limit of the stress and strain upon which a wire remain elastic. Plastic behavior. If the wire is stretched beyond the elastic limit, the strain increases much more rapidly. It is stranded force is removed. The wire does not come back to its natural length. Fracture point. If the deformation is increased further, the plastic behavior, the way wire break at a point at the fracture point. Ductile and brittle material. It is the large deformation take place between the elastic limit and the friction point. The material is called the ductile. If the wire breaks soon after the elastic limit is crossed, is called the brittle. Elastic fatigue. It is a property of elastic body by virtue of which its behavior will become less elastic under the action of the repeated alerting deforming force due to the fatigue. The bridge become the less elastic after a use of a long time and therefore are declared unsafe. Fluid, a substance which began to the flow under an external force, is called a fluid. Liquid and gases are a fluid. Fluid density, the ratio of the mass of the to a volume of a body, is called called its density, i.e., mass percent in a unit volume. It is a scalar quantity having SI unit. The density of the water unit is 1,000 kilometer upon m cube. The density of the water is maximum 4 degrees centigrade. Hydrometer, it is an instrument used to measure density or relative density of the liquid. It works based on the law of floating pressure. Thrust, and the normal press force exerted by a liquid per unit area of the surface is contrast at rest is called the fluid pressure. Fluid pressure is its unit is Pascal. Atmosphere pressure. The pressure exerted by the atmosphere is called atmospheric pressure. Anode barometer is used to measure atmosphere pressure and the height of the place. Another unit of atmosphere pressure are torr and bar. Pascal's law. The pressure exerted anywhere at a point is confined. Fluid is transmitted equal and undiminished in all directions throughout the liquid. Hydraulic lift. Hydraulic brake work on the basis of the Pascal's law. Buoyancy. When a body is partially or wholly immersed in a liquid, an upward force act on it, which is called the buoyant force or of thrust force, and this property of fluid is called the buoyancy. The buoyant force is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced by the submerged part of the body. The buoyant force acts as the center of the gravity of the liquid displaced by the submerged part of the body, which is thus called center of buoyancy. Archimedes principles: when a body is completely immersed in quiet, it loses some of the weight. The loss in the weight is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced by submerged part of the body. Law of floating. A body will float in a liquid if the weight of the body is equal weight of the liquid displaced by emerged part of a body. In floating condition, the center of the gravity at the center of buoyancy of the floating body must lie on the same straight line. Ice and large iceberg float on the water surface as its density is lesser than the density of water. When the piece of the ice floating on water, it's 11, 11 upon 12th part submerged in the water, and 1 upon 12th part is outside the water. In sea water, 8 upon 9, the ninth part of the iceberg is submerged, and 1 upon ninth part of is outside the water during floating. It is easier to swim sea water than in the river, as density of the sea water is greater than the density of river water. In sea water, buoyant force is greater than that in the river water. The density of human body is lesser than the density of water, but the density of human head is greater than the density of water. Therefore, during the swimming, a person displaces the liquid with hand and legs, and the total weight of displacement liquid become equal to the body of the body, the weight of the body. Surface tension, the property of a liquid by virtue of which it tries to minimize its free surface, is called the surface tension. The minimum surface area of the given amount of liquid is for the spherical shape. Therefore, raindrop are spherical. Factor affecting surface tension: temperature. The surface tension of a liquid decrease with the increase in temperature. Double soluble impurities. If the impurities are less soluble in liquid, then its surface tension decrease. If impurities are highly soluble in liquid, then its surface tension increase. Surface tension of a liquid becomes zero at a critical temperature. Application of surface tension: when soap, detergent, Dettol, phenol, etc. are mixed in the water, then its surface tension decreases. When salt is added in the water, its surface tension increases. When oil is spread over the surface of water, its surface tension decreases. When the kerosene oil is sparked, on which its surface tension is decreased. As a result of the lava of mosquito floating on the surface of the water die due to the sinking. Warm soap is tasty because at the high temperature its surface tension is low. Consequently, the soap spread on the all part of the tongue. Antiseptic like Dettol have low surface tension, and therefore it reaches in a tiny crack of the wound and clean the germs and bacteria. The surface tension of the soap solution in water is less than the surface tension of pure water. Therefore, soap solution clean greasy stain of the cloth better than the pure water. Capillarity is the phenomena of rising and or falling of liquid column in a capillary tube. Glass tube of a very fine bore is called the capillarity. Example of capillarity: a piece of vaulting paper soak ink because the pore of the vaulting paper serves as a capillary tube. Second, the oil in the wick of the lamp rises due to the capillary action of thread in the wick. Third, the root hair of plant draw water from the soil through capillary action. To prevent loss of the water due to the capillary action, the soil is loosened, the split into pieces by the farmers. If the capillary tube is dipped in the water in an artificial satellite, water rises up to the other end to of tube because of its zero apparent weight. How long the tube may be. Action of the towel in soaking up water from the body is due to the capillary action of the cotton in the towel. Metal wax in a candle rises to a wax by the capillary action. Cohesive and adhesive forces: the internal molecular force of attraction acting between the molecules of the same substance is called cohesive force. Example: intermolecular force of attraction acting between the molecule of water and mercury, etc. The intermolecular forces of attraction acting between the molecule of different substances is called the adhesive force. For example, intermolecular force of attracting acting between the molecule of a paper and the gum paper and the ink, etc. Viscous force: the force which opposes the relative motion between the different layer of a liquid or gases is called the viscous force. The viscosity is a property of a liquid by virtue of which it opposes the relativity motion between the different layer. Viscosity of is a property of a liquid and gas both. The viscosity of a liquid is due to the cohesive force between its molecules. The viscosity of a gas is due to the diffusion of its molecule from one layer to the other layer. Viscosity of gas is much less than that of liquid. There is no viscosity in solid. Viscosity in ideal fluid is zero. With the rise in temperature, viscosity of a liquid decrease, and that for the gases increase. Viscosity of a fluid measured by the coefficient of velocity, and its SI unit is decapoisia, or Pascal second is generally denoted by N. एक लंबा साइन बना है, स्टोक्स लॉ। अकॉर्डिंग टू दिस लॉ द विस्कस फोर्स डिपेंड ऑन द कोफिशिएंट ऑफ द viscosity velocity of the moving object and its size. Terminal velocity: when a small spherical body falls through a long liquid column, its velocity increases gradually, but the later on it become constant, is called the terminal velocity. The radius of the spherical rainy drop is a very small, therefore the terminal velocity is also small. The with which they strike the earth's surface: when a liquid flow through a pipe, its speed is maximum I near in the minimum near the wall of the pipe. Brignole's theorem: if a non-viscous and the incompressible liquid is flowing in a steam flow, then total energy I sum of the pressure energy, kinetic energy, and potential energy per unit volume of the liquid remain constant. Venturi tube and aspiratory pump work on the Bernoulli's theorem. According to the Bernoulli theorem, with the increase in velocity of liquid, its pressure decrease, and vice versa. During the storm of cyclone, the roof of it huts or tinned roof blown off because the wind blew with a high speed over the top of the roof, and therefore pressure of air decreased due to the pressure or difference of air above and the below the roof, or lifting force act on the roof. If it is sufficient to balance the weight of the roof, it start to fly off. Magnus effect: motion of the spinning walls. When swinging ball deliver the ball changing its plane of motion in air. Chapter 8: Light. Chapter 8: Light. Reflection of light. Law of reflection. The angle of the incident is equal to the angle of reflection. Second, incident ray, the normal, the point of the incidence, and the reflected ray, all the lies in a same plane. Spherical mirror and their uses. Use of convex mirrors. Concave mirrors are commonly used in the torch, searchlight, and the vertical light headlight to get powerful parallel beams of light. They are often used to saving mirrors to see large image of the face. The dentist use the concave mirror to see the large image of the teeth of patient. The large concave mirror are used to concentrate sunlight to produce heat in a solar furnace. Use of convex mirror. Convex mirror are commonly used for as a rear view wings mirror in a vehicle, and enabling the driver to see the traffic behind him or her to facilitate safe driving. They always give an erected through diminished image. Also, they have a wider field of view as they curved outward. Thus, convex mirror enable the driver to view much larger area than it would be possible with a plane mirror. Reflection of light. When the reflection of light, when it passes from the fast medium to slow medium, when the light ray toward the normal of the boundaries between the two media, when a thick glass slab is placed over some printed matter, the latter appear raised when viewed through the glass slab. Of the bottom of a tank or a pond containing water appear to be raised with a seen a pencil partially immersed in a water in a glass tumbled in appear to be displaced as it the interface of air and water. A lemon kept in water in a glass tumbler appearing to other bigger than its actual size when it viewed from the sides. The following are the laws to reflex of light. The first, incident ray, the refracted ray, and the normal to the interface of the two transparent media at the point of the incident or lie in the same plane. The ratio of a sine angle of incident to the sine of the angle of the refraction is constant for the light of the given color and for the given pair of the media. This law is also known as Snell's law refraction. If I is the angle and incidence and the r is the angle of refraction, then sine I upon sine r is equal to constant. That the one with the larger refractive index is optically denser medium than the other medium of the lower in refractive index is optically rarer. The speed of light is higher in a rarer medium than a denser medium. Dispersion of a white light by the glass prism. The prism has probably split the incident white light into band of color. The sequence of the color beyond the splitting of light into component color, it's called the dispersion. different color of the light bend through the different angle with respect to the incident ray as the passes through a prism. The red light bent the least while the violet the most. Thus the ray of each color emerges along the different path and thus become a distinct in the it is a band of distinct color that we see in a spectrum. A rainbow is a natural spectrum appearing in the sky after a rain shower. It is caused by dispersion of sunlight by tiny water droplet present in the atmosphere. A rainbow is always formed in a direction opposite to the sun. The water droplet act as a reflector, act like a small prism. They reflect and disperse an incident sunlight, then reflect it inertially. The final reflect it again when it comes out of the raindrop due to the dispersion of light and internal refraction. Different color reach the observer's eyes. Atmospheric reaction. The air just above the fire become hotter than the air further up. The hotter air is light less denser than the color air above it and has a refractive index slightly less than that of the cooler air. Since the physical condition of the refractive medium air are not stationary, the apparent position of the object as through seen the hot air fluctuate. The waving is thus effect of the atmosphere refraction of light by the earth atmosphere. Twinkling of star. The twinkling of star due to atmosphere refraction of starlight. Advanced sunrise and delayed sunset. The sun is visible to us about 2 minutes before the actual sunrise and about 2 minutes after the actual sunset, because the atmospheric refraction scattering of light is a phenomena by which a beam of the light is redirected in many different directions when it interacts with a particle of matter. The blue color of the sky colored of water is deep sea. The reddening of the sun at sunrise and the sunset. Total internal reflection is a phenomena that occurs when the light travels from a more optically dense medium to less optical dense one, such a glass to air of water to air. Example of total internal reflection: mirage. Hotter air is lesser dense and has a smaller refractive index than the cool, cooler. On the hot summer days, the air near the ground become hotter than the air at the higher level. Notice that while moving in a bus or a car during a hot summer a day, a distance path of the road, especially on a highway, appear to a bed. This is also due to mirage diamond. Their brilliance is mainly due to the total internal reflection of light inside them. Optical fibers to make use the phenomena of total internal reflection undergoes repeated total internal reflection along the length of the fiber. There is no appreciable loss in the intensity of the light signals. Tyndall effect. The Tyndall effect is a scatter of a light as a light beam pass through a collide. This individual suspension particularly scattered and reflect light and make a beam visual. The Earth's atmosphere is a heterogeneous mixture of water minute particles like smoke, tiny water droplets, suspend particles of dust, and molecules of air. When a beam of light strikes such fine particles, the path of the beam become a visual. Tyndall effect is shown when a fine beam of the sunlight enter a smoke filled room through a small hole. Tyndall effect can be also observed when the sunlight passes through a canopy of a dense forest. Power of acclimation of eyes. The ability of the lens to change its shape to focus near and distance object is called the acclimation. A normal human eye can be see object clearly that have been between 25 centimeter and infinity. Defect of vision and their corrections. Nearsightedness. If the eyeball is too long or the lens too spherical, the image of distant object is brought to the near focus in front of the retina and it out to focus again before the light strike the retina. Nearby the object can be seen easily. The eyeglass with a concave lens correct this problem by the diverging the light ray before they enter into the eye. Nearsightedness is called myopia. Farsightedness is if the eyeball is too short or the lens too flat or the inflexible, the light ray enter entered the eyes, particularly those from the near object, will not brought to a focus by the time they strike the retina. Eyes glass with a convex lens can correct the problem. Farsightedness is called the hypermetropia. Astigmatism is the most important common refractive problem responsible for blurry vision. Most of the eyeball focusing power occurring along in a front surface of the surface of the eye, involving the tear film and the cornea. The clear window along the front of the eyeball. The ideal corona was a perfectly round spherical. Anything other than perfectly round contribute to abnormal cranial curvature. This is the alignment. Astigmatism. Cylindrical lens is used to correct astigmatism. Chapter 9: Magnetism and electricity. Electricity flow of the electrons is called electricity. The electricity produces by the friction between two appropriate body is called the static electricity. It is also called the frictional electricity. Coulomb's law: the electrostatic force of the interaction acting between two stationary point charges is directly proportional to the product of the magnitude of charge and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. Electric field: the space in the surrounding of any charge in which the its influence can be experienced by other charges is called the electric field. Electric field intensity at any point is defined as the electrostatic force acting per unit a positive test charge at point E is equal to F upon Q. Its unit is Newton per Coulomb. Therefore, electric field intensity is inversely proportional to the square of the distance r from the point charge. Electric field line. An electric field line is an imaginary line so that its tangent at any point is in the direction of the electric field vector at that point. Two lines can never intersect. Electric field lines always begin on a positive charge and end on a negative charge and do not start or stop in the mid space. Electrical potential at a point in an electric field is equal to the work done per unit charge is carrying a test charge from the infinity to that point. Its unit is joule per coulomb. Electric potential V is equal to W upon Q. Potential difference is that a physical quantity which decided the direction of flow of the charge between 2 points in electric field. Positive charge always tend to move from higher potential towards the lower potential. Electric dipole and capacitors. An electric dipole consists of two equal and opposite point charges separated by a very small distance. Electric dipole movement of the dipole is produced of charge and separate between the charges. A capacitor or the condenser is a device over which is a large amount of charge can be stored without charging at dimensions. The capacitance of the conductor is equal to the ratio of the charge q is equal given by the conductor to the charge in its potential is given by c is equal to q upon v. Its unit is coulomb per volt or the farad. Farad is a large unit of the capacitance. Its practical unit is microfarad. One new farad is equal to 10 ki power minus 6 farad. Types of material. Conductor are those types of material which have numbers of free electrons to conduct the electricity. The metal are good conductor of electricity. Insulator are the type of material which do not have two free electron in its volume, hence it does not conduct the electricity at all. Semiconductor, it is a type of material which do not have free electrons at normal temperature but has the electrons at a increased temperature and hence behave like a conductor. The materials such as silicon, germanium, etc. are the semiconductor. Electric current. An electric current whose magnitude and direction do not change with the time is called the direct current, and whose magnitude changes continuously and the direction change periodically is called the alternating current. Inverter is a device which convert DC to AC. In the solid conductor, electric current flow due to the flow of electron. In liquid, to the flow of ion as well as the electrons, and in a semiconductors due to the flow of electrons and holes. Its SI unit is ampere. Resistance. A resistance is a opposition that flow substance offer flow to the electric current. It represented by R. The SI unit is ohm. Conductance. The conductor and the conductivity is the reciprocal of the resistance and the resistivity of the material property. The SI unit of the conductor is omega minus 1. IEMO omega MHO, and to that the conductivity is omega minus 1 meter minus 1. The resistivity of the material depend on the temperature, and the nature of the material depend on the temperature and the nature of the material. It is interdependent of the dimension of the conductor. I length across the area sections. Resistivity of material increase with increase in temperature. Combination of resistance, it increase R1 and R2 and R3 are connected in series, then their equivalent resistance is given by the R is equal to R1 plus R plus 2 plus R plus 3. In the series combination, equal current flow through the each resistor, but voltage varies. And if a resistor R1, R2, R3 are connected in parallel, then their equivalent resistance is given by the 1 upon R is equal to 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2 plus 1 upon R3. In parallel combination, potential difference across each resistor remains same, but the current varies. Ohm's law, it states that the physical condition of any conductor such as temperature, pressure remain unchanged, then electric current flowing through it directly proportional to the potential difference B applied across it, and I proportional to V, or V is equal to IR, where R is the electrical resistance of the conductor. Electric cell. An electric cell is a device which converts the chemical energy into electrical energy. Electrical cells are two types. Primary cells cannot be changed. Volatilic Daniel and the Lential cell are the primary cell. Secondary cell can be charged again and again. Acid and alkali accumulation, and the secondary cell working of electric cell is based on a chemical effect of electric current and EMF of a cell. The work done by a cell to bring positive charge from its own terminal to the other is known as it and electromotive force. Electromotive force is a work, but not a force. Joule's law of heating. Current can produce three effect: heating effect, magnetic effect, and chemical effect. Heat is produced in a conductor in a time t given by H is equal to I square RT is equal to V square upon R into T is equal to VIT. This is known as Joule's law of heating. Electric bulb, electric kettle, heater, etc. device work on the basis of heating effect of electric current. The to protect the domestic appliances from the sudden changes in electricity, fuses is used. It is made of tin lead alloy 60% plus 37%. It should be have high resistance and the low melting point, always connected in series. Electric power. The electrical energy produced or consumed per unit time is called the electric power. Electric power is equal to P is equal to VI is equal to I square R is equal to V square upon R. One sorry Chemical effect of electric current. When an electric current is passed through an acidic or the basic solution, it decomposes into positive and the negative ions. The positive ions collect the negative electrode cathode, and the negative ions collect a positive electrode anode. This phenomena is called the electrolysis. It is a chemical effect of the current. This process of the coating of a base metal with a layer or of more expensive metal is called the electroplating. Domestic electrification. From a distribution of two terminal of are supplied to the house named as we live as a neutral earth as a local suspension substation. The third terminal is introduced as the earth for the safety in the building. Lightning appliances. The electric discharge occurring between the two charges cloud or between a charge cloud and the earth can damage the house or the building. To protect this lightning conductor are used. Magnetism is a material which can attract iron object. A natural magnet is on ore Fe3O4 is called magnetite, or the sorry a magnet which is prepared artificially is called the artificial magnet. A freely suspended magnet always align itself into north-south direction, like magnetic poles repel and unlike magnetic poles attract each other. A current carrying coil containing a soft iron core is called the electromagnetic. And electromagnetic is utilized. The electric is a bell, electrograph, receiver, telephone, and diaphragm, transfer dynamo, etc. Permanent magnet are the made of steel. Temporary magnet of electromagnet are the made of soft iron, because the steel cannot magnetized easily, but when it magnetized one time cannot be demagnetized easily. The soft iron can be magnetized or demagnetized easily. Property of magnet attraction. Attractive property. A magnet can attract a small piece of magnetic substance like iron, steel, cobalt, nickel, etc. The attraction is maximum at the poles, unlike poles attract and the like poles repulse. Direct property. A magnet, when suspended freely, align itself approximately along geographical NS lines. Magnet poles exist in a pair. If a magnet is cut into the two equal transverse to its length, and N and S poles of the magnet do not get separately. Magnet field is the space in the surrounding of the magnet of a current carrying conductor in which its magnet effect can experience. It's called the magnetic field. Magnetic lines of force. Is an imaginary line drawn in a magnetic field at which a magnet north pole will be moved if it the free do so on. So a tangent drawn at a point at a magnetic line of a force represents the direction of the magnet field at their point of magnetic flux linked with the surface is equal to the total number of the magnetic lines of the force passing through that the surface. Normally its unit is Weber. Earth magnetism. The earth has its own magnetic field. The poles near the geographical north of the earth is called the magnetite. North Pole. Similarly, the pole near the geographical south is called the magnetic South Pole. The Earth magnitude field divert charge, particularly coming from the space toward its poles, and saves living being from the being several harmed. Magnetic compass, a magnetic needle which always directly in the north, south, and as direction. Magnetic storms, local disturbance in the Earth magnetic field which can be damage telecommunication, which are probably caused by the lump of the charged particles emanating from the sun, is known as the magnetic storm. In Arctic circle, they are known as aurora borealis or the northern light, while in Antarctic circle they are called the aurora australis or the southern light. Moving coil galvanometer. A moving coil galvanometer is used to detect the presence of the current and the direction of the current in any circuit. Ammeter and the voltmeter. An ammeter is an instrument used to measure the electric current. It is always connect in series. The resistance of the ideal ammeter is zero. The galvanometer can convert into the ammeter by connecting a low resistance in parallel. A voltmeter is a device used to measure potential difference between 2 points in an electric circuit. The resistance of an ideal voltmeter is infinity. It is always connected in parallel. A galvanometer can convert into a voltmeter by connecting a high resistance in a series. A small resistance connected in parallel with the load resistance to reduce amount of electric current through resistor. It called the shunt. The magnetic substance. There are three types of magnetic substance: paramagnetic, diamagnetic, and ferromagnetic. Paramagnetic substance. Those substances which are feeble magnetic in the direction of the magnetic field when placed in a strong magnetic field are called the paramagnetic substance. For example, aluminium, platinum, chromium, magnesium solution of the salt of iron, nickel, oxygen, etc. These substances are attracted toward the strong magnetic field in a non-uniform magnetic field. The magnetism of these substances decreases with the increase in temperature. Diamagnetic substance. Those substances which are freely magnetized in opposite direction of the magnetic field when are placed in a strong magnetic field are called diamagnetic substance. For example, gold, silver, zinc, copper, mercury, water, alcohol, air, hydrogen, etc. These substances are attracted toward the weak magnetic field in the non-uniform magnetic field. The magnetism produced in these substances does not change with the increase or decrease in temperature. Ferromagnetic substance. These some substances which are strongly magnetized in the direction of the magnetic field when are placed in it are called the ferromagnetic substance. For example, iron, nickel, cobalt, etc. The magnetism produced in these substances decrease with the increase in temperature and at a particular temperature called cursive. temperature. At the Kirschner temperature, a paramagnetic substance becomes diamagnetic. Kirschner temperature for iron is 770 degrees centigrade, and for the nickel is 358 degrees centigrade. Electromagnetic induction, EMI. Whenever the magnetic flux linked with an electric circulation circuits changes, an EMF is introduced in the circuit. This phenomena is called the electromagnetic induction. Faraday's law of EMI. Whenever the magnetic flux linked with the crucial changes and introduced, EMF is produced in at the induction. The EMF loses as well as the changes in magnetic flux continues. Lenz's law: the direction of the induced EMF or induced current is always in such a way that is opposed to the cause due to the which is it is produced. Eddy's current: if a piece of metal is placed in a varying magnetic field or are rotated with a high speed in a uniform magnetic field, then induced current set up the piece is like a whirlpool of air is called eddy's current, also known as Foucault's currents. Uses eddy current are used in a dead beat galvanometer, induced furnace, introduced motor speedometer of the automobiles, etc. Eddies current are used in diathermy of for deep heat treatment of the human body. Self and mutual induction, the phenomena of the production of the induced EMF in a circuit due to the change in the current flow in its own is called the self induction. The unit of self induction is Henry H. The phenomena of the production of induced EMF in a circuit due to the change in the magnetic flux in its neighbor circuit is called the mutual induction. Its unit is Henry H. Alternating current and an electric current whose magnitude and direction changes continuously is called the alternating current. The frequency of alternating current is in India is 50 Hz. The means of the average value of the AC is zero is for one complete cycle. Root means the square value of AC is given by uh, I RMS is equal to I 0 upon under root 2, and ammeter and AC voltmeter read root mean square value of the alternating current and alternating voltage, respectively. AC generator or dynamo. It is the device which invert a mechanism energy into alternating current. Its works is based on the electromagnetic induction. DC motor. It is the device which converted electric energy into the mechanical energy. Its work is based on the fact that when a current carrying coil is placed in a uniform magnetic field, a torque acts on it transformer. It is a device which can change the low voltage current into high voltage current and vice versa. It works on in the based on mutual induction. Setup transfer. It convert low voltage current into high voltage current. Set down transfer. It convert high voltage current into low voltage current. Chapter number 10: Nuclear Reactor. A nuclear reactor is a device that contain and control sustainable nuclear chain reactions. It a nuclear reactor in nuclear reactors, the nuclear fission is controlled by the controlling the number of the neutrons released during the fission. The energy delivered is a control manner is used to produce steam, which is can run turbines and produce electricity. Fuel: uranium 235, plutonium 239. The fissionable material is used in the reactor along with a small neutron source. The solid fuel is made up into the rod and it is called a fuel rod. Role of the extra neutron. These neutrons that can turn initiate a fission process producing still more neutrons and so on. The start is the chain reaction. Slow neutron, thermal neutron are the much more likely to cause fission in 235 U 92. Then faster neutron. The fast neutron liberate in fission would escape instead of causing another fission reaction. If the chain reaction is uncontrolled, it lead to the explosive energy output as a nuclear bomb or atomic bomb. At each time an atom is split, it release large amount of energy in the form of heat. Modulator: water, heavy water, D2O, and graphite light nuclei called the moderator are provided along the fissionable nuclei for the slowing fast neutrons core. The core of the reactor is the site of the fusion, nuclear fusion. It contains the fuel element is suitably fabricate from reflector. The core is surrounded by the reflector to reduce leakage energy. Heat released in a fission in fission is continuously removed by the suitable coolant. The coolant water, heavy water, liquid sodium, helium, liquid oxygen. The coolant transfer heat produced during fission to a working fluid, which is a turn may produce steam. The steam drive turbines and generate electricity. The control rod, cadmium boron. The reactor can be shut down by the mean of the rod made of, for example, cadmium boron. That heavy absorption of capacity of neutron. Cadmium and boron can absorb neutron to form the corresponding isotope, which are not radioactive. Shield, the whole assembly is shielded with heavy steel to concrete to check harmful radiation from coming out. Chapter number 11, Work, Power, Energy. Work is a scalar quantity. It is the SI unit is joule and the CGS unit is urge. 1 joule is equal to 10 to the power urge. Work done by the force is zero when body is not displaced actually. IES is equal to zero. Body is displaced perpendicular to the direction of the force. Theta is equal to 90 degree. Work done by the variable force. If we throw a ball upward, work done against the gravity is given by the W is equal to mgh, where m is equal to mass of the body, g is equal to acceleration due to the gravity, and h is equal to height through which the ball is raised. The centripetal force act on a body perpendicular to the direction of the motion. Therefore, work done by against centripetal force is circulation motion is zero. If the coolie is carried to the lead on the head of the moving on a horizontal platform, then work done by a force gravity is zero. It displays is perpendicular to the direction of the force of the gravity. Energy of a body is in a capacity of doing work is an scalar quantity and its SI unit is joule. Energy can be transferred into work and vice versa with the help of some mechanical devices. There are two types of mechanical energy, which are follow: kinetic energy. The energy possessed by a body by virtue of its motion is called the kinetic energy. Kinetic energy of a body of a mass and moving, and the velocity v is given by k is equal to half mv square. Potential energy, the energy possessed by any object by virtue of its position configuration is called the potential energy. Gravitational potential energy u is equal to mgh. Einstein mass energy relation. According to the relation, the mass can be transferred into energy and vice versa. When mass is displaced when the produced energy is equal to mc square, where c is the speed of the light in vacuum. Law of conservation of energy. Energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. Only one type of energy can be transferred into other form of energy. Only the conservation force, total mechanism energy. Some equivalent used to transfer energy. Equipment energy transfer: dynamo mechanical energy into electrical energy, candle chemical energy into light and chemical energy into light and heat energy, microphone sound energy into electrical energy, loudspeaker electrical energy into sound energy, solar cell solar energy into electrical energy, tube light electrical energy into light energy, electric bulb electric energy into light and heat energy, battery chemical energy into electrical energy, chemical energy into electrical energy, electric motor energy into mechanical energy, sitar mechanical energy into sound energy. Chapter number 12, Gravitation. Gravitation. Each of and every massive body attract each other by the virtue of their masses. The phenomena is called gravitation. Newton's law of gravitation. The gravitation force acting between the two point object directly proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. Gravitational force is equal to G m1 into m2 upon r square. G, where G is the universal gravitational constant. Its value 6.67 into 10 to the power minus 11. Gravitational force is a center as well as conservative force, acceleration due to gravity of the Earth. The uniform acceleration produced in a freely falling body due to the Earth's gravitational pull is called the acceleration due to the gravity. G is equal to gm upon r square. G, where m is the mass of the energy, g r is equal to radius of the Earth. The value of g changed slightly from the place to place, but its value near the Earth's surface is 9.8. meter second is meter second की power minus 2. Gravitational force is the weakest force in nature. It is the 10 to power 36 times smaller than the electrostatic force, and the 10 to power 38 times smaller the nuclear force factor affecting acceleration due to the gravity. Shape of the Earth. Earth is not completely spherical. Its radius is equator is approximately 42 kilometer greater than its radius of the pole. The value of G is maximum at the pole, the maximum of the equator. There are no effect of rotation of the earth at poles and maximum equator. Effect of altitude. G decreases with altitude. Effect of the depth. G decreases with the depth and becomes zero and the center of the earth. Mass of the weight. The mass of the body is equal quantity of matter contained in it. It is a scalar quantity and the SI unit is kg, and the mass is measured by the ordinary arms balance. Mass of the body does not change from place to place and remain constant. The weight of the body is a force with which it attracts toward the center of the earth. Weight of the body W is equal to mg. The center of the gravity of a body is the point at which the whole weight of the body appear to act. The center of the gravity can be inside the material of the body or outside it. It is a vector quantity and its SI unit is Newton, and it is measured by the spring balance. Weight of the body is not constant, it changes from place to place. Weight of the body in a lift. When a lift is rest or in a uniform motion, the weight recorded in spring balance, example apparent weight, is equal to the real weight of the body. W is equal to mg. When lift is accelerated upward, the weight recorded in spring balance is greater than the real weight of the body. Uh, when lift is accelerated downward, the weight of the recorded in spring balance is smaller than the real weight of the body. When lift is freely undergoing the gravity, the apparent weight of the body. Therefore, body will experience weightlessness. The body weight of the body at the moon at the mass of the radius of a moon is lesser than the Earth. So the force of the gravity as the moon is also less than that of the Earth. Its value of the moon surface is uh, G upon 6. And here our chapter number 13, satellites. A satellite, a heavenly body revolving around a planet, is in an orbit called satellite. The moon is a natural satellite of the earth. The satellite may be artificial satellite are two types. Geo stationary satellite, it revolves around the earth in a equatorial orbit, which is also called geostationary or geosynchronous orbit. This time, the time period of the satellite is 24 hours. Polar satellite. These satellites revolve around the Earth in polar orbit at the height of the approximately 800 kilometer. Weather monitoring, which is the predictor on the basis of the information about the moisture present in the air, atmosphere presence, etc., obtained through a polar satellite. We able to see a live telecast of cricket World Cup match or the other program with the help of the communication satellite, which is a geostationary satellite launching vehicle PSLV and GSLV. Time period of a satellite. It is the time taken by the satellite to complete one revolution. The escape velocity is the maximum velocity with which a body should be projected from the surface of the earth so as it goes out of the gravitational field of the earth and never return to the earth. Escape velocity is the independent of the mass shape and size of the body and its direction of the projection. Escape velocity is also called the second cosmic velocity. For example, escape velocity is equal to 11.2 kilometer per second. For moon, escape velocity is 2.4 kilometer per second. Arbitrary velocity. Arbitrary velocity is a satellite v0 is equal to under root g into r, and the escape velocity ve is equal to under root 2 g r, where r is the radius of the earth, i.e. v is equal to under root 2 v 0, i.e. escape velocity is under root 2 times the orbit velocity. There if the orbit velocity of a satellite is increased to under root 2 times increased by 41%, the satellite will leave the orbit and escape. And our chapter is now finished. जी इतना काफ़ी चैप्टर है हम लोग के गवर्नमेंट एग्जाम्स के लिए, चाहे कोई भी एसएससी हो या बाकी एग्जाम्स हो, सबके लिए रिलेवेंट होगा इतना.